Are we live? Let's see. Okay. All right. We're live. We are live, everyone. Pretty sure this is working. Let me get myself situated. And let's begin. Okay. Welcome to another episode of the, hold on, I have to turn this off because it's like gonna reflect in my glasses. Okay, whatever. Welcome to another episode of the Business Breakthrough with Barbara show. I hope everyone is having a great 4th of July weekend. Yeah, I'm really happy to be here as always. If you are new to this community or you are new to the Business Breakthrough with Barbara show, welcome. I am so happy to have you here. Just for those of you who don't know this, my name is Barbara Iuliano, and I am a business and confidence coach for coaches. I help coaches get started, get clients, and make money doing what they love through my unique framework of strategy, confidence, and intuition. I am also the host of this lovely community made up of members just like you. And I go live every single Monday at 10 a.m. Eastern to teach you all things that will help you grow a business, right? Grow your online business. This week, you guys voted. Actually, it was really clear what you guys wanted because about like 90% of you voted for this topic. And it's all about the exact steps that I took to grow my Facebook group. And I am so excited to talk about this. I've talked about this a million times already, but I haven't in a while. And I'm just excited to like dive deeper into like what I actually did. Because I know that so many of you in here want to grow a Facebook group of your own, or even if you're trying to grow any other type of community, whether it's like an email list or an Instagram following or whatever type of community you're trying to grow so that you can ultimately grow your business, this live stream is going to be really helpful for you. Even if you're like, I've never even thought about growing a group, I promise you there's going to be a lot of value that you can take into any other type of community that you are planning on growing. So obviously, you see this group, it's always growing by hundreds and hundreds of members every single day, every single week, every single month. But just like any other person, this group started with 0 people in it. There was no one in the land of new coaches besides myself and probably my coach at the time, or like my boyfriend or something when I just started it. So I know what it's like to grow something from scratch. I know the stumbling blocks that people come across. I know the resistance. I know the hesitations. I know the confusion that comes from that. And I'm just excited to share my insight and to share my journey and what I have done to specifically grow this group. Okay, so before I dive into what I have done, like the step-by-step actions, I want to talk about how I have showed up for this process from the beginning, because it's been years and years of me nurturing this community and all the other communities that I run. But I want to talk about how I showed up, because I think more than the doing, I think this is even more important. And I think this is what has made this group so successful. I think this is what it continues to make it a really successful community. And I also think it's what makes it a profitable community. This is why so many of my clients come from here, and so on. So the way that I have shown up, there's a few foundational aspects to that, okay? And I really highly encourage you to play around with this and try to assimilate them as your own as you grow your community, because they're really going to help you not just now, but like in the long run, like 5 years from now. If you show up from this place and if you show up with this foundational pieces, you could grow anything you want, right? They've been so imperative to the growth of this group, and they're going to be so imperative to the growth of your group, okay? The first one is focus, okay? So here's a mistake that I see a ton of people make, which is they really want to grow a Facebook group or insert whatever community you're trying to grow, and simultaneously they're trying to grow like 2 or 3 other things. Okay, that is something I've never done. I have always had an insane level of concentration on the one community that I try to grow. Okay, so that meant when I was starting my group, I literally had to like not care about my freebie or my email list, right? I had an immense amount level of concentration to growing this specific community for a long time. Okay, this wasn't like, oh, I focus on my group for like 3 months, right? And then I expanded to really focusing on email marketing or really focusing on growing my Instagram. As a matter of fact, my company really didn't even start focusing, like putting a lot of focus, energy, and emphasis on Instagram until like the end of last year or like middle of last year. Like I've had it, I would repurpose content, but it was never a really big client acquisition tactic or platform for me. It's always been on the back because I put so much energy and focus onto this one. It has been wildly helpful for the continuous growth, right? To be able to put blinders on and be like, okay, this is the community that I want to grow, and this is the community that my mental energy, time, and effort is going to go into. Okay. Now, this is hard because there's going to be a whole bunch of people telling you, like, but you should be on Pinterest and you should be on Instagram and you definitely need to have an email list. So you're going to be like, but I need to do all the things. I need to grow all the communities. But what I know to be true and what I can tell you from experience is that if you're trying to grow a whole bunch of different platforms at once, none of them are going to grow to their maximum capacity. And your brain is going to be split into figuring out how to grow so many different types of communities that you're just not going to have the needed concentration to actually see it succeed. Okay, so focus, like immense focus, has been one of the most important ways in which I have shown up that has helped me grow my group. Okay, the second thing is willingness to step outside of my comfort zone. Okay, whatever you're trying to grow, again, this is going to help you whether you're growing a Facebook group or something else, but whatever you're trying to grow, your willingness to step out of your comfort zone is going to be imperative. So important because this is new, right? If you're just starting from scratch like I did like 4 or 5 years ago, can't even remember when I started this group. If you're just starting from scratch, there's going to be a lot of new things. There's going to be a lot of new tactics and new things that you're trying to implement in order to achieve this goal of growing a community of buyers, right? So you need to be willing to step outside of your comfort zone. I still can remember the days where it was so uncomfortable for me to hop on a live stream in here. Okay. I still remember the days where it was like somewhat embarrassing to like be showing up for a group that only had like 8 people in it. Okay. That's okay. We all go through it. It's part of the growing process. And the more that you're willing to step outside of your comfort zone, the more that you're willing to stretch, the more that you're willing to try new things, the more that you're willing to do the thing that you're resistant the most, the more that your group or your community is going to grow. Okay. The next way in which I have shown up that has been undeniably helpful, it's a really good one actually. When I was like writing my show notes for this week, I was like, this is key, which is simplicity over complexity, guys. Simplicity, like literally like write this down, put it in a sticky note. Simplicity over complexity. Okay. Sure. Do you want to get your community to a space where you are doing really complex things, right? Like where you have a weekly show, where you use different hashtags, where you have incredible graphics rotating every month, where, you know, like, do you want to do more complex things? Do you want to have like 5 different ways in which you can market that community? Like, yes, eventually you want to work yourself to that, right? But at the beginning, and actually for a very long time, Simplicity will always win over complexity. The more that you overcomplicate it, right? Let's say you go from no group to having a group, and you're leaning towards complexity versus simplicity, which is the opposite. What you're probably going to try to do is you're going to try to be like, okay, well, I need to write like 3 different posts every single day, and then I have to create different graphics every single week, and then I also have to do 3 live streams per week, one on Monday, one on Wednesday, one on Friday, and then I have to like respond to every single notification, and I have to make sure that my banners change every single week so that people don't get bored, and I have to make sure that I'm marketing in Facebook groups with Facebook ads, and signing up for podcasts in order for the group to grow, right? Like you're instantly overloading the amount of things that you need to do in order to not just grow the group, but also manage the group. Okay. So complexity is only going to make you feel overwhelmed as you grow the group. The more simple and the more basic that you can keep it, the more likely that you are to show up for it long term. Okay. The more likely that you are to keep promises to yourself, right? Like, let's say you keep it simple and you're like, okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do 1 video every month, and I'm going to like repurpose my content or whatever, and I'm going to market in this one space, right? That simplicity, it may sound simple to you, and at some level, maybe it may feel like it's like not enough, but that simplicity is what's going to keep that consistency. And that consistency is what's going to help you grow the group. I promise you, when the Land of New Coaches first started, it was not what it is today. I promise you, when any of my communities started, it was not what they are today. None of them. It started very simple, and I had to get comfortable with the idea of like, this is simple, this is what I can manage, this is what I can commit to, and this is how I'm going to continue showing up for it. Then you can add layers. Then when it becomes second nature, then when it becomes like quote unquote easy, or where you don't have to like think about it so much, then you could be like, oh, well, maybe we can add like a quarterly challenge to the group, right? Or maybe we can start bringing guest experts into the group. Or maybe I could have like a community manager for the group. Or maybe I can start writing guest blogs for like big syndications so that I can promote the group, right? Like you can always add, okay? But I want you to add in a way that feels good and doable and something that you can follow through with. Otherwise, it's going to be really, really hard. So simplicity over complexity, okay? The last way in which I showed up, and then I'm going to go into the exact steps that I took in order to grow the group, but the last way that I showed up that I know it's going to be helpful for all of you is, hold on, my notes disappeared, is being inconsistently consistent, okay? You guys have probably heard me talk about this before. I actually just talked about this a couple weeks ago. But if you want to massively grow your group or any community, you want to be inconsistently consistent. Okay, meaning, are you going to be perfect? No. Are you a human being? Absolutely. Are there going to be weeks where like you feel really proud of yourself of how you showed up for your community and for the growth of your community? Yes. And are there going to be weeks where you maybe don't feel as proud of how you showed up for your community? Yes. But the way I want you to look at it is when you kind of like take a bird's eye view of your community and its growth, okay, and you see the whole timeline and how you've been showing up, okay, does that timeline look consistent, right? Like there's going to be a few gaps. There's going to be a few weeks, like maybe you had a really rough week, or you went on vacation, or maybe you had a lot of resistance that you didn't process, right? Like those gaps are going to be there. They're there for me. They're there for you. They're there for any other coach that you know. But in the overall scheme of it, can you see a pattern of consistency? Okay. Are you showing up for it more often than you're not? Okay. And when you are not showing up for it, are you being intentional about it, right? Or are you just kind of like letting it fall off the wagon and, just kind of like You're like, I'll do it tomorrow, I'll do it next week. Or you just like, hey, for a week, I'm feeling a little burnt out from my community growth. I'm going to take a little break, right? That's being intentional with your inconsistency, and you're totally allowed to do that. Okay, so those inconsistent gaps are going to be there, normal, but you want an overall theme of consistency. Not only is it going to help you when it comes to growing the group, but it's massively going to help you to managing the group, engaging the group, and getting clients from the group and selling from the group, right? Because if you go incognito for like a month and then all of a sudden you like resurface, like we're starting from scratch, right? Like we have to like reignite people. We have to like maybe even get a new energy into the group. We have to do so much work to get that starting momentum and to get you like to a confident level again, rather than just being like, hey, I'm feeling tired. I'm going to take a break for a week. I'll be back on Monday. Okay. Or like, I'm going on a trip, so I'm going to not focus on growing my group this weekend. So be intentional with your inconsistency, but overall be inconsistently consistently, well, whatever, you guys get what I'm trying to say. So those are the ways in which I encourage you to show up for the process of growing your group. Now I want to talk about like the tactical steps that I've taken to actually grow the group, okay? And I'm going to give you like the overall theme of what they look like, and I'll probably add in some specific examples, okay? So there's 4 ways in which I have done this. So value, collaboration, personal outreach, and ads. Okay, so I'm going to explain each of those ways, specific steps that I've taken to grow the group. Okay, so let's start with value. One of the things that has helped me, and I know for a fact that will help you tremendously to grow your group, is making sure that it's full of value. Okay, meaning you have to think about it this way. Like you have to give people a reason to want to join. Okay, you have to give people a reason to want to be in the group. Okay, they have to see your group and be like, I am just like, this is for me. Like, I am just so excited to learn this, or I'm so excited to get supported with this, or I'm so excited that this group offers this. So one specific way in which I have used value to grow my group is, for example, challenges. Okay, so I have ran challenges, and as most of you know, most of my big challenges are in this group. So I will run a challenge. Let's say I've run like a 3-day challenge, or even a workshop. I've done like a fear busting workshop. I've done like a get clients masterclass. So like I will create a valuable experience and tell you, hey, join this experience. It will be in my group. Okay. Join this experience. It will be in my group. Even when you think about like resources and freebies, right? Like I have dropped so many PDFs and templates and swipe files and like pieces of copy and things into this group that like keep people excited to stay here, because there's just constantly things coming in here, right? Like if you're not here, you're not getting them. So like even now where we're managing multiple communities, there are things that this group will get that my email list won't get, and vice versa. There are things that my email list will get and this group will not get. And that's how you get people engaged. Now, the question that I always get when I talk about adding value is, okay, but how exactly has that grown your group? Like how exactly has that gotten a group that went from 0 to over 4,000 to happen? And there's a few ways in which this works, okay? I'm going to give you like the Facebook explanation of Facebook group growth. The first way in which it works is now you have a really valuable thing to market, okay? So whatever your marketing strategy is, whether you're marketing in other groups, okay, whether you're marketing using paid advertisement, whether you're marketing using networking or personal outreach, right? Like whichever way you are marketing yourself, now you have a really valuable piece of value that you can direct new leads, new potential clients into, which will in turn direct them into your group, okay? So it is a really easy way to market your group because you make it a no-brainer for people to join. So obviously this value piece needs to be tied with a marketing piece, which is getting it out there in front of more people, okay? And there's a trillion ways of doing that, okay? I can dive a little bit deeper into that if you guys want me to. Let me know in the comments if you do. I can't see comments right now, but they'll probably pop up at some point. But if you want me to dive a little bit deeper into like different ways of marketing yourself, like specific ways of marketing yourself, let me know and I will go there. Hopefully comments pop up. If not, I will come back and answer them, or I will make a whole other episode on it. Or maybe I'll check my phone. Anyway, the other way that value helps, okay, for example, like the Business Breakthrough with Barbara show is a ginormous piece of value. We come here live every single Monday at 10 a.m. Eastern to teach you guys how to grow a business, to share insight, to share my stories, and all of that, all of those things that will help you grow and accelerate and get clients and all of that. So now, not only can you market that piece of value way more easy, but now what happens when your group actually starts growing? It's pretty magical. Facebook, if you have an engaging community, right? Like Facebook kind of gets like this messages that tell them, hey, this community is popping, right? Like it's engaging, members are engaging, they're coming to see your lives, they're coming to see live streams, they're posting in the group, right? Like Facebook kind of gets a little trigger. And what happens is it starts showing your group to other people. So ultimately, Facebook will do the marketing for you, at least for now. We all know that Facebook is always changing something and things change over and over and over again. But for now and for the past couple of years, that's how it's been working. The more that your group is engaging and growing and kind of like popping, I like to think of it like as a party, the more that Facebook will be like, oh, cool, this group is amazing. So let's show it to other people. So value, like adding value to the group on a consistent basis, not only helps you like set it apart and helps you invite people into the group by giving something in return, but it also helps your group get more engagement, get more movement. You know, it helps your group qualify as a worthy of showing it in front of other people to Facebook. So that is the invisible way in which adding consistent value has helped me grow my group. Okay, so at this point, I don't promote my group as much as I used to, right? Like before, all of my content used to be about like, join my group, join my challenge, watch this live stream that I did. Like now we do like one post a week maybe where we say like, hey, have you seen this episode? Because Facebook does such a good job at promoting the group for me. Okay. Any questions? Any questions? Let me know if you have any. Okay. Where am I going next? Value, marketing, boom, 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 bring engagement. Okay. Next thing that has helped me grow the group. This is something I did a while back. I haven't done it for quite a bit, but I used to do collaborations. Okay. So I used to kind of like network in other groups, and then I would find entrepreneurs who I liked, who I aligned with, and they had their own group, right? They had their own community. So I kind of invented like this thing that I call them like swap interviews. This tactic actually really helped me a lot. So I started doing swap interviews for a really long time. So what I would do is I would find people with other groups who had a similar audience, but maybe a little bit different. Sometimes we would do like the same thing. Sometimes we wouldn't, right? Like sometimes I've swapped interviews with like health coaches, or like I've swapped interviews with like email marketers, right? Or even with other business coaches, right? And I loved this tactic. I love this specific way of growing my group for so many reasons. Number one, I got to meet so many amazing people, right? And then number two, once I figure out like a process for it, it was so easy to implement. All I had to do was find an individual who had a group, and then we would swap interviews. So the way it would work is I would say like, hey, so-and-so, I adore your content. I'm really connecting with X, Y, and Z. I see that you have a Facebook group. I have a Facebook group too. I was wondering if you would be interested in doing like a swap interview, where you can come in my group and support my community, and I could go in your group and support your community, and then we would both let our communities know so that they would get my communities to go to their communities, and I would get my community to go to their community, and they would get their community members to go to my community. Okay, so that helped me grow the group a lot. And it was also adding a massive amount of value because I was bringing in people that were teaching things that I would never have taught. Okay, so that was super fun. I loved doing it. It was like my own little kind of like podcast feeling. It was super, super, super fun. As a matter of fact, I don't know if you guys know who Maria Want is. She was one of the last people who reached out to me at the end wanting to do a swap interview with me. And at that point, we were kind of like canceling, like my swap interview software wasn't working. And I don't even remember what happened. And it never ended up happening. But that was the last person who reached out to me and said like, hey, let's do a swap interview. I see that you're doing these things. So that helped me a lot. So collaborations could look like that, or you can make your own way to collaborate with other people and kind of like surge each other's community into each other. Okay. And again, guys, that will bring engagement to the group, right? Because they would bring their people into my group, and they would want to watch what we were doing. And then that would bring engagement to the group. And then it would let Facebook know like, hey, this is a legit group. Like you should send more people here. Okay. The next thing, and I'm going to go back to what I said about how I've showed up. One of the things I mentioned was stepping out of my comfort zone. But the next thing is super valuable, and I think a lot of people resist it. And you definitely don't have to do it. I want to put this on the table. You do not have to do what I'm about to say. This is what I have done at some points. It has worked really well for me. It works really well for a lot of my clients. It is not something that all of my clients do. It is definitely not something that you need to do. But if you want to accelerate your growth, and if you really truly want to skyrocket the growth of your group rapidly, this could be really helpful. So maybe you'll try it, maybe you won't. We'll see. Either way, it is a really helpful tactic, and it works wonders. It is called personal outreach. Ding, ding, ding. So a lot of people are resistant to doing that. A lot of people are resistant to saying like, hey, would you like to join my group? Because there's so many people doing it the wrong way, right? Like I don't really judge anyone when they message me to sell. I actually love when people do that. Number one, because I like to see what people are doing. And number two, because I truly deeply believe in like, that's an amazing thing that you have the confidence to sell your business and promote your services or your group or whatever you're pitching me in your DM. It really doesn't bother me. I don't really have an emotional charge to it at all. I know I have some friends who are like, I hate when people do this. That's not me at all. But I definitely have gotten dozens, if not hundreds of messages of people being like, hey, what's up? We got this awesome group. You want to join? Link below, right? And no judgment, no emotionally charged at all. But I think that's why people resist it, right? Because I don't think that's as effective, right? I don't know you. I know nothing about you. I have not connected with you. You don't know me. How do you even know that I want your group? How do you even know that it's going to be helpful for me? So I think personal outreach, there's so many ways to do it. There's like the blunt way of like, hey, I'm awesome. This group is awesome. Here's the link, join. Or you could do it the way that I have done it throughout the years, which is when you see people online on your friends list, on another group, like when you're searching hashtags, who could be a really good fit for your group, let them know that you have something that could help them, right? Like that, personalize it to them. Don't just send a copy and paste message that says like, hey, I'm cool, my group's cool, join below. Literally like personalize it to them, stalk them a little bit, get to know them, and then say something along the lines like, hey, so-and-so, like I love your puppy. I have a pit bull of my own, and I've had like 4 different dogs over my life. I am such a dog lover. I also see that you're a coach, and I just wanted to let you know, without any pressure, that if you wanted a little bit of like free support around growing your coaching business, I have a Facebook group that could really help you with that. I'm going to drop the link in case that you're interested. But other than that, I love that we cross paths. So much different than like, I'm awesome, my group's awesome, here's the link, and I'm just going to copy and paste this message to like 100 people. So personal outreach does work, and you have to do it in a way that works good for you, that feels good to you. Otherwise, you're just going to resist it and never do it. The last way, and the last step that I have taken to grow my group, which has not been my favorite, but I have ran ads to this group. And what I can tell you is that a solid content and visibility strategy has worked so much better for me to grow the group than to run ads. And I know that's not the case for everyone. I have lots of friends in the industry who run ads to their groups and their communities, and they work amazing. I run ads often. I'm not against ads. It's just, it doesn't, like, it has grown my group, but every time it does, I don't think it's people who go through the whole experience, right? Like they just kind of like see an ad, they click on it, they go to the landing page, they join the group, and like they never end up becoming like really like engaged members or like future buyers or anything like that. That has been my experience. It has grown the group. It hasn't been my favorite way of doing it. I also think that it's just so easy to grow it without paying money. Like even at this stage of my business, I'm always looking as to like what's going to give me the most with spending the less. I mean, we're in business, we're always going to do that, whether we're starting from day one and we're broke, or whether we've been doing this for 6 years and we have more than enough resources. We're always going to think like, what's the most effective thing that has the right price tag to it? And for me, ads, it's just not worth it, not to grow the group at least. But those are the few things that I have done. I also want to add a layer of all these things work alongside a good content and visibility strategy. And then that content and visibility strategy has a good marketing plan where I know where I'm going to promote certain things, what places I'm going to be showing up, and all of that good stuff. But yeah. I'm going to see if you guys are asking any questions. Drop your questions, drop your comments. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you're planning on growing a group of your own. This was a very highly requested topic. It always is a highly requested topic. I actually do have a mini course called the Start and Grow a Facebook group mini course. If you want it, just message me and I'll send you the link. We're not actively promoting it, but I think it goes hand in hand. I think it's only like $27. So yeah, just send me a message and I'll send you the link. But other than that, guys, that's all I have for you. I will come back in a little while to read all of your messages, to read all of your questions. I don't know why Facebook is not showing me anything, but please drop them in the comment section. Even if you're watching the replay, drop them in the comment section. I will come back, I will answer, I will support you, and I will continue to help you grow. Every Monday at 10 a.m. Eastern, come back throughout the week. Vote for whatever topic you want me to cover, because we always have 2 topics and you guys tell me what you want to learn most. So make sure that you're voting either in the event or in the post that has polls or wherever you see that we're asking you what topic you want me to cover. The other thing is, if you want actual support, actual consistent support to grow your business, and you want to work with a coach and you're at that stage where you're just done trying to figure all of this out on your own, book a discovery call. I shared the link there so that you and I can chat. There's a lot of ways in which you and I can work together and in which I can support you further in your business. I would love to do that. So if you've been wanting to work with a coach, definitely book a call. I think that's it. I think those are all the reminders I had to tell you. Message me if you want the mini course. Book a discovery call if you're ready to work with a coach to help you get started, get clients, figure out all of the community growth and all of the sales processes and social media marketing and all the things that need to happen in order for your business to thrive. Have an amazing rest of your week. Come back on Monday at 10 a.m. Eastern, set alarms, drop any questions, and that's it. Barbara's out. Bye, everyone.